I believe all the information he told us was true. I think when he got into the point where he was questioned about the boat, and he said he'd have to take that name to his grave, I think that's where he became a little bit reluctant, and things tailed off. But I do believe the confession without any doubt.
Jorn van der Sloot offering to meet with Dutch police following caught on video confession. With me tonight, Dave Holloway. This is Natalie's father joining us. Also with us, the man who masterminded the sting, Peter DeVries. Mr. DeVries, the theory came out in Jorn van der Sloot's confession that he wasn't really sure Natalie was dead when she was thrown into the ocean that night. Were you shocked when you heard that?
Yeah, I was very shocked. Patrick was asking him, how can you be so sure that Natalie was dead? And then he said, well, I wasn't. She was just not moving anymore. She wasn't ticking anymore. And so I thought she must be dead. And then he dumped her into the ocean. And yeah, that's really shocking. When
you first saw this video, I mean, I'm sure that Van der Aam called you and told you what had been said before you saw it. But when you first saw it and you saw Jorn van der Sloot giving this confession, what was your reaction? I was shocked by the disrespect he talked about Natalie. He called her a bitch and things like that. He called her a whore. Yeah. He called her a bitch for absolutely no reason. This girl had a sterling reputation. Yeah, and he's showing no remorse at all. He's telling that he didn't lose 1 second of sleep. Oh yeah, I'm pretty convinced by that, because it was not a slip of the tongue what he did. He did a full confession on tape, not once, not twice, but more than 10 times, and he did it. There were some days between it, and they were very detailed, and so I'm convinced that he told the truth. Till now, Jorn always denied that Natalie died in his presence. And now he confessed that, and he told what he did with the body, and he told how he came home, what he did with the shoes. It's the complete story. Caught on tape, this is part of what Jorn van der Sloot said on secretly recorded audio and videotapes, masterminded by Dutch investigative reporter Peter DeVries. What happened to her? What the F happened to her? I'm from Aruba. I know the beach. Jorn, I'm telling you honestly, I know what happened to that girl. What happened then? She's dead, isn't she? Of course. The ocean's big, isn't it? Of course the sea is big, man. Jorn, I just think that I'm incredibly lucky she's never been found, because if they found the girl, I'd be in deep expletive. On and on, these two drive around for hours, discussing so many issues of crime, but especially this. Jorn, what have you done? She looks sweet, you know. Patrick, she's just lying still. Still, she's not doing anything. He says, what happened? I don't know. Did you try to resuscitate her? Of course, I tried everything. I tried to shake her. I was shaking the bitch. I was like, what's wrong with you, man? I almost wanted to cry. Why does this have to happen to me? Why does this have to happen to me all the time? You know, to Dave Holloway, Natalie Holloway's father, who is with us tonight, it makes me wonder why he said all the time. What else has happened to him? Did you have that thought too?
Oh, Nancy, it's been all about him all along. He's hurt us tremendously, other families tremendously, and some innocent people of Aruba. He has no remorse, a total disregard for anyone else except for himself, even his own family. And it's just shocking to me that someone could do this. It's just,
Dave,
I'm still reeling from it.
You have lived through so many versions that Jorn van der Sloot has spouted off. What are some of the inconsistencies you know off the top of your head?
Well, you know, you start from the beginning. They lie about where they dropped Natalie off, and, you know, it just goes on and on and on. You know, there's just so many different versions and so many different lies, all about trying to protect themselves from going to jail. And, you know, it has come to the point in time where I don't think anyone can be in his corner at all, and he's put himself in that corner, and we've just got to find out who this boat operator is and continue our search in Aruba. We've got a boat out there right now as we speak that's combing the ocean floor and to find Natalie's remains.
You know, I think fathers and mothers all across this country that are hearing you right now are shuddering, Dave, at the thought of being so far away from their child's remains and sending boats out to troll the ocean to try to find her. You've never given up. To Peter DeVries, when you heard this, when you saw this, everyone, DeVries masterminded these secretly recorded tapes, and we are taking your calls live tonight. After you saw this, you realized you had to tell the parents. How hard was that, Peter?
Yeah, that's of course very hard. I'm an experienced crime reporter for 30 years, but it's always hard to tell parents what happened to their children when they are missing or murdered or raped, and well, that's very hard. And Beth was very emotional when I told her.
You know, I thought I understood it, representing victims for so many years in court, but now that I have my own 2 children, I don't know how you do that. It must be very, very hard.
It's the most difficult part of the job.
Let's go out to the lines. Pauline in California. Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm good, dear. What's your question?
If she was alive when she hit the water, would the water have woke her up?
Well, I think we would have to know, wouldn't we, Dr. Edelman, what was wrong. If she had passed out, if she was in some type of a seizure, she may never have come to.
That's true. Without a body, we're at an extreme disadvantage because there's no way of telling what actually happened with her.
To the attorneys, Doug Burns and Mickey Sherman, Mickey, without a body, it's going to be very difficult to prove a murder took place. Do we have to take Jorn Vandersloot's word for it that she suddenly died of a seizure?
Well, that's not going to get them, home, and that's the problem. You know, the tape, which is excellent, I got to congratulate Mr. DeVries. I mean, just the technical quality is amazing, and the fact that he clearly had no idea he was being videotaped. Unfortunately, however, he doesn't say, I killed her, and I hate to say that so clearly to her dad here, but he doesn't admit killing, and that's a problem. You know, and also he lies about other things. And he has his lawyers now in the very unenviable position of saying, no, we don't believe my client because he's lying about this and he's lying about that.
Okay, all right.
That's a problem.
So, Doug, you don't have to have a body to go forward with a murder case. And you don't have to have a confession to go forward. But what we need to go forward is somebody else he talked to.
You don't need that. You're absolutely right. And I think, Nancy, honestly, you hit it on the head. His quote about, man, if they had found this body, I would be in deep... whatever expletive he used. That is a huge thing they have to latch on. And the other point is getting this boat operator. That's the key.
Back to Peter DeVries. DeVries responsible for masterminding the scheme that caught Vandersloot on tape. Peter, honestly, what do you think will happen now? We Americans don't get that the Dutch authorities have not pursued this further. I mean, they're just executing search warrants now, nearly 3 years later, to get his laptops or his computer. I mean, that doesn't even make sense to us. We want search warrants now. We want justice now. And I don't understand it. Do you really think he will ever see a court of law, Peter?
Yeah, I'm convinced he will finally stand on trial, really, believe me.
Why?
Because the Dutch and the Aruban police and investigators are really very busy with it. And
why did this judge refuse to issue an arrest warrant?
Well, that's a technical law thing in the Dutch law. It's not easy, but that's the way it is.
Man, you're telling me it's not
he
easy.
will stand trial.
You believe that?
Me. Yeah, I believe that.
You believe it. To Bernie in New York, what?
Maybe not next month, but he will.
To Bernie in New York. Hi, Bernie.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm good, dear. What's your question?
Nancy, do the police know who this Dory character is? I'm assuming he's the one that drove the boat and dumped Natalie's body in the water.
They do. I'll throw that one to you, Art Harris. Explain Dory.
Well, Dory was the so-called friend he picked to blame, helping him carry the body to the boat. The Dory he named, however, has an alibi. He was in Holland at the time. There is another Dory, I understand, who is being ruled in or out, but most people don't think it's Dory.
What about that, Peter? Is there another Dory?
Yeah, there is. Sure there is, because the dowry who is in the news now is not mentioned by Joran. It's the wrong dowry.
So there is another dowry?
There's another dowry, yeah.
Okay. I've just got to ask you why you think this will land in court, because I'm afraid it's over. If they haven't arrested him now, will they ever?
They are working on it, and there are a lot of suspect circumstances.
Oh, I've got to ask you something else very quickly before we go to break. A lot of people have attacked you, saying you crossed journalistic bounds by doing this. I say they're just jealous they didn't think of it first.
I'm saying, so what? I did what was needed. That's what I did.
Yes, you certainly did.
Yeah.
With us tonight, taking your calls, Mr. Peter DeVries and Natalie's father, Dave Holloway. But I want to share with you very quickly a way, on a different note, to fight a different enemy: breast cancer. Women's Personal Health Resource